On a cold winter evening, the wind howled outside Ethan's modest cabin, rattling the windows and sending flurries of snow swirling through the air. He was settling in for the night, a steaming cup of tea in hand, when he heard a soft whimpering sound at his doorstep. Curiosity piqued, he opened the door, and his heart sank at the sight before him. A lynx, emaciated and weary, stood shivering on his porch, flanked by two tiny cubs. Their fur was matted, and their eyes, wide with fear, reflected the dim light of the cabin. The mother lynx looked up at Ethan, her gaze pleading. "Please," it seemed to say, "let us in." Ethan hesitated, a mix of instinct and caution battling within him. He had always respected nature from a distance, but the sight of the vulnerable family tugged at his heartstrings. After a moment, he stepped aside and gestured for them to enter. "Come on in," he whispered, his voice soothing. As the lynx and her cubs padded inside, Ethan quickly shut the door against the biting cold. He watched as they nestled into a corner, their bodies instinctively seeking warmth. The mother's ribs were starkly visible beneath her fur, and Ethan felt a pang of sympathy. He rummaged through his pantry, pulling out some chicken scraps and leftover rice, and prepared a small meal for his unexpected guests. As they ate, Ethan noticed the telltale signs of pregnancy in the mother lynx. He felt a mix of awe and concern. This wild creature had chosen his home as a refuge, and now, it seemed, she was about to bring new life into the world. Over the following days, Ethan found himself drawn deeper into their world. He set up a cozy nest for the lynx and her cubs in his living room, where they could stay warm and safe. Ethan named the mother Lynn and the cubs Leo and Luna. He spent hours watching them, captivated by their playful antics and the way Lynn would nuzzle her young ones, teaching them the ways of the wild. Despite his initial misgivings, he found comfort in their presence, and they became a part of his daily routine. He would talk to them as he worked, and in return, they offered companionship in a way he hadn't realized he needed. As the weeks passed, Ethan grew increasingly aware of the bond forming between them. Lynn began to trust him, allowing him to get closer, and he felt a profound sense of responsibility for their well-being. He researched how to care for them, ensuring they had the right nutrition and space to thrive. Each day, he would take them for short walks in the woods, keeping them safe from potential dangers while allowing them to explore their natural instincts. But as winter began to wane and the days grew longer, Ethan knew the time was approaching for Lynn and her cubs to return to the wild. It was a bittersweet realization. He had grown attached to them, and the thought of them leaving filled him with both dread and pride. He wanted them to be free, but the thought of their absence weighed heavily on his heart. Determined to give them the best chance at survival, Ethan built an aviary in the backyard, a safe space where they could acclimate to the outdoors before fully venturing out into the wild. He filled it with branches for climbing and soft bedding for comfort. He spent countless hours ensuring it was perfect for Lynn and her cubs, all the while battling his own emotions. Finally, the day arrived. The sun shone brightly, melting the last remnants of winter's grip. Ethan opened the door to the aviary, heart racing as he watched Lynn and her cubs explore their new surroundings. He felt a mix of joy and sadness, knowing this was the moment they had been preparing for. As they took tentative steps into the open air, Ethan held his breath, hoping they would embrace their freedom.